No, Seacoast.
I'll go 1 minute warning.
Well, there's Atlantic down in Portsmouth, they're the ones that have done both my shoulders and this elbow, and they're pretty good outfit down there. It's called Atlantic. It's just south of the traffic circle
From this
on Route
round
1.
little ski.
Yeah,
bunnies.
little kids gave it to me a week ago.
They used to be on the bypass years ago, because they did this shoulder.
You can take the middle, I hear you.
But you wanted it
A little bit.
Hey, how are you?
No, it was,
Good.
by the time I tested.
One thing, it's something else, huh?
I took that.
Did you get my last?
I didn't get it. Sorry.
Better in like 24
So
hours.
you want to change the
This
time?
last time about 3 days.
Yeah, I remember that, you know, I know.
I just offered it, but I just was offering it because we were.
Yeah.
But
And Rose calls
I know,
me
I
and
just said
says,
to
"Where'd my
Ellen,
husband
I
I
just thought I got it back cold.
had so much.
I'm sure.
As we all do, you know, I like it.
Oh, this is the meeting I
It's like
did.
the old school, oh, I
I read
love that.
Marshall,
How are you?
okay, buddy. Yep.
Agendas and minutes are up there, 2 pages on the minutes.
On the 23rd?
23rd.
Yeah, I printed them out.
2 pages off.
It's like, where were we?
9 o'clock, planning board meeting, January 13th, 2025. Let me know if you can't hear me, because I'm talking through this mask, just so you guys are somewhat protected. I'm on day 7, so hopefully not very contagious. Hopefully. Anyway, my name is Ed Ingles, Vice Chairman. I'm going to run the meeting today. And roll call: Marshall Goldberg. Here. Terry McMenamy.
Here.
Gus Stratton.
Here.
Terry Ward.
Here.
Rich Stacker.
Here.
And just for everybody's information and for the tape, Rick Surrett resigned as chairman of the planning board and is off the planning board as of last week, sometime, Rich, right?
Yeah.
Does he need to send a letter to the selectmen? I think technically he's supposed to.
He sent one to the selectmen,
He did?
Yes,
Okay. I think that's all he needs to do.
he told us, yes.
Yeah, and he gave me a call, so I was aware of it. So I guess we'll take this a little bit, well, we don't have any alternates today, so we can skip 3. And let's skip down to new business, and we need to elect the chairman, because the chairman needs to run the meeting.
I nominate Ed Ingles.
Great.
I'll second that.
Marshall, are you interested at all?
I will do it only if I had to.
Okay.
So, it's not like my favorite thing that I would love to do, but
What if we, this is member comments, I guess. I will take on the chairmanship between now and March, and then maybe we can reassess. Does that make sense?
Is it possible to co-chair? Can you guys do that?
I don't think so. I think you need chairman, vice chair.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay, so I'll agree to do it through March, post-town election. So we have a motion on
I
the floor?
second that.
Motion on the floor? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We do
Unanimous.
need a vice chair.
We do.
I'll nominate Marshall.
Yeah,
I second that.
That's the worst job, because you have to take like notes.
No, we is taking notes now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. All right, do we have a second on Marshall?
I second.
Carrie, second.
All in favor of Marshall being vice chairman between now and March?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 6-0, I guess. All right, so that's good. Let's go back to, well, announcements. I announced Rick's resigning. I don't think we have any correspondence or mail. Maybe we can just, I don't know if this is an announcement or not, but I'd like to propose that we move the meetings to the second Monday at 6 p.m. as opposed to 9 a.m. if anybody is good with that.
I agree. It's a little tough, is all I have to say.
And I think just given the general public is, should be here, most
Right.
people that would work that live in the town would work. And you don't want to make people take the day off for that, so.
So we need a motion for that?
Do we need a motion for that, or we can just do it?
It never hurts to have a motion, but
Okay, I move that we change our meeting times back to the alternate, second Monday of the month at 6 PM.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All set. And Leah, you need to post that, I guess, on the website, right, and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
It also says in the rules of procedure that you're supposed to make an amendment and keep them in here.
Yes, we are going to, and I guess this comes under announcements, we are going to amend the rules of procedure at some point. Would be one of my objectives. I thought that, start going down the side road here, I thought I would just take a look at it and run it by Laura, and then we can talk about it here and vote on it and amend it. So that would be one example. There's references to the bulletin board on Stone Road and all kinds of other stuff that is irrelevant now.
Well, even whether we need to write a letter of resignation or not, is that in the rules? Isn't in the rules? If it isn't, we probably should put it in.
Yeah, I think there was something about.
There's a number of things.
There's nothing that says that he needs to even tell the planning board, so
Right.
there's a lot of little inconsistencies like that.
Yep.
And we also found one that we had to make a decision on a site plan review 60 days later, and then in the site plan review regulations, it says 65 days, so we have to decide which one is right and fix that. So there's a lot of little things like that, so I think we'll put that on the 2025 list of things to do, along with warrants and master plans, all kinds of stuff. All right, approval of minutes from December 23rd. I don't know if people have had a chance to read these.
Yep.
The only thing, I think I did these, right, Lance? The only thing I didn't like was under approval of minutes from the prior meeting. It says, Mr. Surratt moved to accept the minutes with those changes. It just doesn't say what those are. But I think that's okay, just to move forward with that. Because we have the final minutes in the book. So if everybody's okay with approving that with the kind of that nebulous language in there, the changes have been made. But I'd have to go reference what they are if anybody really wants to see.
I wasn't, because I wasn't here and I apologize for that. Was there a subcommittee created?
Oh, for the master plan?
Yeah.
No, it
Okay.
was just, I just had said,
We said, yeah, we should do it.
I'll be the champion, I'll lead it, I have the relationship with SRPC,
Okay.
and then I said, I'm not gonna do this alone, so I would like to create a subcommittee so we can divide and conquer and get her done.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
meant to volunteer to help you out
Good.
with, because I know you're gonna need bodies to go to different committees.
Exactly. We're gonna divide and conquer, so.
So would that then, the subcommittee would have to be planning board members, or would it
No,
stand out?
so my thought is, we get one selectman,
Yeah.
which since Rich is on this, I would probably go to Rich. At least two from the planning board,
Uh-huh.
if people are interested in doing the work. If they're not, don't just sign up, right?
Right,
And
right,
then the third thing would be community,
right, okay.
right? So reach out to the community. So I thought, even at the town meeting,
Yeah,
we'll just, or I don't know how we'll do it, but I'm sure I can get a minute to say, hey, we're gonna start redoing the master plan. If you're interested, sign up sheet, just
That's
give me
great.
your email, right? Because we wanna
Yep.
make it holistic from that perspective.
And we don't want too many, so if we got 15 people, you'd have to do a lottery and pick 3 or something.
Right. Or maybe I'll position it as, you know, do you have an interest in knowing what's going on as we evolve, and I will communicate to the community. And to your point, only have a couple, 3, you know, to your point.
Like, we have room for 5, selectmen, 2 planning, 2
There you
community.
go. Yep. Perfect.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
on the 24th, you did officially, with a vote of Surratt, seconded by Stroud, to create a subcommittee. So I would just rescind that motion, because you don't want to leave a subcommittee just hanging out there, because it is official, so it meets with any quorum and everything else. So if it's your decision not to have that subcommittee, I think you should eliminate it if that's what you're doing.
I think we want the subcommittee, so
Just
it's
amend the
been
minutes.
created, we just haven't put people on it yet.
Okay, I could have sworn I heard somebody say that you did not create a
I
subcommittee.
think we just did say
I
that.
think she asked if we did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. So we have a subcommittee, Marshall is chairman,
Whatever you want to call me.
if you want to be chairman of that.
I can just be master marshal, you know.
I can think of something.
And we will, I guess,
I'll
We can just chat.
Start working it.
about what you need and how we're going to do that. Position it for the town meeting.
Right.
Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes. Did we do that? No, we didn't. Motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
I can second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Any public comments? Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just remind you that the other rules of procedure change would perhaps, if you decide to do so, was the previous vote to change the gravel pit inspection process. So you should add that to your rules of procedure. And I just wanted to clarify, any changes you made to the previous minutes, those changes will be in these minutes now. So that change will be recorded, so you don't have to go back and find anything out.
Say that again?
The minutes that you amended, you
Yes.
said you left out something in the minutes. That change that you made should be in these minutes now
Okay.
as the amendment. And that way there's a corresponding
Yeah.
timeline to when that change was made.
I don't have the minutes from the previous meeting, but or for the meeting in early December, but didn't we discuss that in early December, about the gravel pit?
We did, oh, yes, we did, but it never made it into your rules of procedure for some reason. That's why nobody knew about it. But there was a previous vote, it may be 2 years ago, there was a vote to have it put into the rules of procedure. For some reason, the copies you have don't have that in there. I don't know if the copy of the rules of procedure that Chairman Strauss left on the computer has those changes. And that's the gravel pit inspection area where it says about the self-addressed stamped envelope and the permissions.
So, yeah, we have the bad one in here
Correct.
that we've been using.
I mean, if you choose to do it that way, it just worked very good for years.
Yep. We actually ended up doing that this year, right?
Yes.
So we did get, for example, we got them back here, we'll talk about momentarily.
And also the rules of procedure, you're going to change the dates and times, you're going to amend that
I think we should,
of your posting locations.
I don't think the rules of procedure should necessarily have the dates and times. I think it should say TBD by the planning board to be announced publicly in X number of time,
That would make more sense.
ahead of time. Because if you move it from 6 to 7,
Correct.
you have to amend the rules, it doesn't make sense.
But the posting locations are important.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you. Okay.
So as it relates to that, so the letters have been sent, right?
Yes,
So now we have to go do the inspection, right?
we do. Why don't we skip to gravel pit inspections?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can take these out of order, that's fine. So we have, one back from Moose Mountain, which it's torn, but it says Dana with a phone number. Not his writing, but anyway. If somebody would like to volunteer to call Dana and just, you and I did it last year, Terry.
This time of year, it's tough to do inspections with snow on the ground.
Yeah,
Um,
I think by the end
That's
of
just
the
my
week,
input there.
end of the week, it might be okay. It's supposed to be warm.
Was it,
Did we do Smith or something?
Right.
Who's the other
we
one?
did the other
Yeah.
one,
The Smith pit,
but
yeah.
when did we do that?
You have to do them every year.
I know, but I'm trying to
I
remember
think
what
we
month.
did it, well, I don't know, but I think we did it in the fall sometime.
It was cold. I remember that.
Well, we'll do the other one. Gary and I
Yeah.
will do the other one.
Yeah.
Whatever. So do we, I don't know, did they ever respond the last time? Because I think, if I recall, we called or somebody called and they just said, just come anytime and do whatever you need to do.
That sounds
They were
like
pretty
let me
laid back
accept
about it.
that.
Yeah.
So,
So,
should we wait till we get a response or do you want us to follow up and call whoever it is or?
what do you think, Rich? Can we just call them?
I would call Dana. I think they're working or taking sand out, so they should be able to see it. Plus, at the end of the week, there may not be much snow on the ground.
Is Dana the guy we saw?
Dana's one of the two Moose Mountain guys that
Oh,
has
okay.
been here.
Oh, right. Okay, I get you.
All right, Gus, would you mind
No,
doing that?
yeah.
We'll get you a copy of this.
Okay.
That's, I guess that's his cell phone.
Call them to arrange a
Just
date.
call them and just say, because they have a locked gate, so
Yeah.
you do have to get them to open it.
Right.
And then there's a checklist in here that, you know, is there any erosion? Is there,
Mhm.
is it more than 5 acres? And I think you're not going to survey it, you're going to eyeball it. But
So we're still gonna use appendix Y then on the inspections.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's only the letter that goes out to them that we're going to change.
Right.
And Marshall, I'll get you Tommy's cell phone.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Warrant articles. New business. Sorry, done with public comments, right?
I just thought of one.
Go ahead.
In regard to the gravel pit inspections, I had an email sent to the previous chair because he asked me if I had any questions with your legal counsel in regards to the RSAs and how they relate to the need of the reclamation plans. Because that is one of the checkboxes.
Yes. Yep.
So we don't have a chair, so I'm assuming now I'll send an email to you. So when you meet with Laura, you can ask her, you know, what's the actual legal interpretation of doing those or needing to have you have those reclamation plans on file. If you don't need them, meaning because they're pre-1978
Yep.
pits, and that is her interpretation, you should definitely have that letter on hand. So if people come in and say, why haven't you done this? Where's the reclamation plan? You have an answer to that person immediately.
From the lawyer, the
From
letter
the
from the
lawyer,
lawyer.
that the statutes specifically say pre-1978 does not need a reclamation plan.
What-
Or it does need.
That's
not
right.
sure.
My understanding, and I read this a year ago, is that they're both grandfathered prior to that date. They only need a reclamation plan once they shut it down. And they have to file that within a year, I believe, or there's some time frame. So, but that would be good to clarify.
And if that's the case, then on the report form that the public can access via 91A, I personally would just suggest adding that to the form.
Yep.
If you're going to not check the box, and somebody goes, why is this not checked? You could have a little.
You can just say
little
NA
note in-
grandfathered or something like that.
Grandfather per RSA 55E7 according to legal counsel, whatever,
Yep.
something, just so there's
Yep.
something there, so nobody questions what you're doing.
We follow
Yep, I
that?
remember that. And I remember he talked to the lawyer, and I remember he got a response. Why? Because we went round and round and round.
The public never heard that response.
Right. And we don't even know, well.
Okay, thank you for taking my question.
Warrant articles, I didn't print them, unfortunately. They're in an email. Somewhere, which I'll have to.
I've got a copy of it.
Find those? Yeah, you have that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's,
Are these the same warrant articles that you posted last time?
no, we have the lawyer rewrite
Oh.
my version of it. But thanks for being on top of it. brief break here for copies.
We may discuss the response. The lawyer was here on Saturday.
Yeah.
She had some, I guess we can talk about that at that time.
Well, you guys are just saying it. I think I just sent it to Rich. I think the lawyer.
I didn't get the response time.
Yeah, I think he's got it. It was in an email that Laura sent,
I remember seeing
along with some other
that.
stuff.
I'm
It
not
was
sure
kind
what
of
folder I stuck it in.
I think Rich has it. While we're making copies, I'm going to make copies of something else.
Take a sec.
This is 4 pages. 4 pages?
I think so.
Does this machine do the two-sided copy?
Yes, it does. I should have done that, you mean?
Well, it just saves a lot of paper. You know
Yeah,
how much paper I have for this committee?
You're absolutely right. You're right.
Is that really what paper clips?
We'll see. Let's see what we got, Rich.
Yeah,
Got something.
exactly right.
We got something. I think we did.
Sorry about that. Given my notice, I
Pass them down. You had to take 4 pages of you got.
So if everybody could just read these warrant articles.
Starts on the bottom of the first page.
Yep.
passing this warrant article, would that mean that that anybody applying for a permitted use would not have to do a site plan review for that specific? They could do a blanket permitted use? Because I think that's one of the issues we're coming up against with this mountain property.
Any change of use is going to require site plan review.
Okay.
Any permitted use request is going to require.
So it's
site
still
plan
going to
review.
require, for specific items that aren't necessarily there already, they're still going to have to do a site plan.
Yes, and then
Okay.
it would be potentially added to the list.
Right.
But if it's on that list, it's not an automatic.
No.
And that's what was confusing. to
Right,
everybody,
exactly.
Personally,
Including all of
I would
us.
love to do away with the whole list.
Right.
And the only thing on the list would be things that have a permanent site plan review approval,
Right.
which would be tubing, you know,
Whatever it is.
whatever it is,
Right,
things that they have applied for
right.
and been given carte blanche. Right now, it's too confusing because there's,
Right,
you know, theater is on there,
right.
but we need site plan review for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think the intent is to have a site plan review for everything. Any questions on the, let's take the 5 acre and the 400 foot, cut it together. So all we're doing is clarifying with that last sentence, where it has the date of March 12th, and just saying that any lot that was legal prior to that date is still okay, as long as it meets current zoning standards. And Rich, you asked her whether that should be expanded?
Yep, she just,
Even clearer, and she said this is very clear, so.
she thought it was clear. Matter of fact, at that meeting, I read this statement to some of the people from the ZBA, had the same issue about clarity,
Yeah,
and they said, well, I understand, that's good.
so the ZBA was fine with it.
Yeah, a couple of members that were here, when I
Yeah.
read that sentence, they said, oh, that solves it, thank you.
Okay. So I guess we should make a motion on each one individually?
However you want, whether we do them all, doesn't matter.
Well, why don't we take those two together, because they're kind of separate entities. So I make a motion to have the warrant article read as she states here for the 5 acre zoning and for the 400 frontage. Got seconds? All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, discussion? Any discussion?
Yes. Yes. The frontage on Kingwood Lake used to be 250. That got swept into 400. Was that our intent?
No. No, that should be 250.
So we gotta fix that here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Lots.
Yes. Good catch, thank you. And we can notify her and we write this up, right?
Oh, we can just change it when we post it, that's fine.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Discussion? All in favor of A, I guess it's A and C, as stated with the correction of 400 to 250 on Kings Lake? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Yeah. So, just to be clear, this, Rich, this warrant article ballot question doesn't reference the 250 at all. So it's only the language that we put in zoning above it that we need to change.
Yes, this is the warrant article ballot question, and it's not, it doesn't reference it in there. Is that your point?
Right, should it?
No, it doesn't have to. No, I think it's fine.
Because if you have a legal lot with 250 of frontage prior to March 12th, it's still legal.
I believe that's correct. Yes.
Should we ask her?
I don't think it's necessary, but she gave us the talking points here, right? She gave us the talking points and then the actual warrant article text.
Yeah.
So for the talking points, it was incorrect, but what you pointed out as what we put on the warrant is fine.
Isn't that limited anyway by existing property lines on the lake? I mean, the frontage, it's already, because you only have so many properties on the lake, right?
Unless people modify their lots,
Oh, to combine them, you mean?
or a lot line adjustment, or if anything happens to a
Oh, I
lot, it's
see
no
what you're
longer
saying.
an old lot, and then the 400 would kick in.
Right,
If you don't touch it, it's still 250.
right.
But I think their intent was to keep them at 250 on the lake.
Yeah.
That's why when people start changing their lot lines, all of a sudden your lot is not an old grandfathered lot anymore, it becomes a current lot. It'd be very careful when you start doing things like that.
Okay. So permitted uses. We have permitted uses and conditional uses listed in the zoning now. And if you look under 2, administration, it's all uses permitted in the rec zone which shall require site plan approval. I think that's pretty clear.
I think from my experience, since this issue has come up, I've had people from the town ask me about this. And a lot of people are under the impression that because they're permitted uses, that they're included in the site plan review. And I think that's what the applicants don't even understand. That's my opinion. But I think that in itself is an issue.
I agree.
And the idea is to try to clarify that,
Yeah.
right?
It's not clear from this that conditional uses are being eliminated, is it?
No, but they're not being eliminated, are they?
Yes. I think our original idea was to fold all conditional onto the permitted. So you have one list, and each of those things needs a site plan review.
That's,
The second one was very clear, yes. Everything needs a site plan review.
Is there a way that we can say that, in terms of this warrant article, that we can say that specific items, because I don't think that's clear, because people assume that it's a blanket approval.
I think that, you know, the more I think about this, I think you're right. We should just get rid of all of it. And just eliminate the confusion. Because anybody who's reading these, if it's a permitted use, then that means it's allowed,
That's how I read it.
That's the confusion.
right? And it's not. Until you have a site plan review and you detail what it is you want to do.
I think we all agree with that confusion. How do we fix it? How
Well,
do
you
we
just
fix it?
You call them permitted uses, still requiring a site plan review. Is that what the intent is?
I think
Yeah, but
that's
then it's like, well, you know, I don't know.
Or how about potential uses, call them that?
So
Why do we have to suggest what the uses are at all?
That's where you get in trouble, because we don't have a complete list.
Right. So we had, because we had the non-permitted, which was super confusing, because if it's not on the non-permitted, then it's permitted, right?
What if we put a statement in there that the site plan review has to address each item that they're requesting for individually, not collectively? Because that is really what the problem is. I think the applicants believe that just because those things are on the list, that one site plan review is going to do the job. Is there a way we can say that, where a site plan review is required for each activity or permitted use that they want to engage in? Because right now, it doesn't say anything about they have to be applied for individually. It just lists, it's just a list. Just a question of making the language more specific.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where propose something, we have to propose some wording that we can talk about, right? We want to,
Yeah.
what would the wording say?
I would like to get rid of the list, period. And just
Well-
say any use requires a site plan review.
So,
Now, they're gonna probably say, well, I have to come up with $400 if I want to do this, and another 400 for this, and another 400 for that. So we would need some kind of facility to waive that.
but it can be, that's a different issue, right? The board can say we're going to waive it.
Yeah.
So, are you making, do you have two proposals then, Ed? One is to remove the list completely? What would you?
Well, as far as we know, as far as I know, which is not much, in 2010, they got approved for tubing and a restaurant. That's the only site plan review that I know that we have on file.
I thought we didn't even have the restaurant.
I heard that too. I heard that there was tubing and events, and those were.
Events, I'm sorry, yes, events.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But when you say I heard, like, is there an actual
Document.
document?
There is a site plan review document for those two things.
Okay.
So you've seen
That's-
this?
That's in the file.
So what would the wording be for a warrant article?
Well, work with me for a second. So those two things have basically, carte blanche, permanent site plan reviews for those two things. Events, if they come to the selectmen for a permit, and tubing. So they could be on the permitted list, because they already have had site plan review, it's been vetted, and planning board voted on it. So you'd have two things on the permitted list right now. Anything else that wants to go on the list has to get a site plan review.
Is this in the recreational area
Yeah.
only?
Yeah.
So can you list those two and then state additional uses require site plan review? And then, once that happens, then that gets added. And so it's like a work in progress type thing.
So, well, if they stop doing tubing for a year, like do
But
they,
they can,
and then they start again, do
Right.
they have to come back for a site plan review or not?
Yes.
I thought it was already, once it's in, it's in.
That's correct, with the restrictions specified when the site plan review was approved.
But isn't that status in perpetuity, regardless of whether it's active or inactive?
And I think that's the question Gary asked, and I think that answer is yes, because it goes with the land, it always goes with the land. But the confusion I think that we have in front of us is, it changes. I can have events, and maybe, and I don't know what the approval is for, I don't know the wording. But what if the event, if it said the event, any event less than 100 people is approved? And we put in the list, events are approved. And now I come in with an event of 1,000 people. So it's not just because it's on that list, it's on that list with the conditions that were applied when it went on the list.
Right.
But
Well, they have to come to
isn't
the
an
select-
event like a one-off? Like if it's a one-off event, like
Right.
if they're having a concert or something like that, that's different. Because I think that requires a different tactic, right? I
Well,
mean,
they have to go to the selectmen for the permit for that,
Mhm.
either way. So you could say, no way, 1,000 people's too many.
mhm.
Bless you.
Well, I'm trying to deal with potential confusion in the future, right? The zoning says you can have events, but we don't clarify,
What the event is. We don't define what the event is, right?
and we don't define, I don't know what the approval was that was granted 10 years ago, because that thing is still a constraint.
Just so then let's pull that thing
Yeah.
for the next meeting. Let's,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, whenever, but let's pull out what it says.
We need to have a meeting before, because the warrant articles are going to be presented in March, so.
Do we feel that we have to have this on the warrant article this year? Especially given what's going on up there.
Yeah, but I also feel like we should look at what it states, so we're clear
Yes.
and not just guessing.
I mean, in one sense, I feel like if we put this on the warrant, it's going to be an issue. Like, now you're changing the rules again, you haven't approved us yet, do we want to get into that?
But we can argue that we're just trying to
Clarify,
clarify
Yeah.
and tighten things up that appear vague
right?
to everyone.
I mean, it's obviously confusing, because
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
7 of us here.
Can we take any steps to try to clarify it, make it a little clearer? Can we pull some, if we're talking Appendix E, right, can we do anything there to clarify it? To at least remove the perception that if it's a permitted use, you do not need a site plan review? Can we put words in that all activities require a site plan review?
Regardless of permitted use.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, if we put that in, that's a good first step to clarify. Everybody needs a review. And then deal with the lists next year.
Okay.
I think we should get rid of the conditional.
I'm okay with that too, as long as we get agreed.
All right, so what if we go back to Laura and say, we want to get rid of the conditional, should we just get rid of it or fold it into permitted on the list? And clarify the language that a site plan review is needed for any of these following permitted items.
For all
Yeah,
items.
or new items as well, obviously.
All items individually, because if you say
Yeah.
all, people are gonna think they're gonna lump it up,
Right.
lump it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote a statement here that might help. Any use requested by a rec zone application requires a site plan review. Any use previously approved, as long as all conditions remain the same, does not require a new site plan review. That's kind of what we're trying to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty clear, I think.
Can you email me that and I'll send it to her?
Yeah, let's do it there.
Yeah, pass that down. I don't know if you can read it.
Here's the email.
Yeah. I don't know if you can read it, though.
Old
it's
school.
finest.
I love it.
Faster than speed
Got
limit.
it.
Can you read that?
Yeah.
That's good. That says it.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would suggest waiving any application for a site plan review to encourage compliance. I mean, we're not making $1 million on applications for site plan review, and if the goal is to protect other people's privacy and property from overactivity, then I would think that you shouldn't have to be charged $400 just to come into a planning board to say, this is what we want to do. Is it okay? You vote, when you leave, they do it. Why do we have to charge them $400 to do a site plan review? That's my suggestion.
I don't agree, because we have mailing down in Curtis Cost, you have to notify the abutters. So
That
we're
doesn't cost $400.
we're just trying to break even. What do you want to make it, 350?
Okay, noted. So that's administration, and bottom of the next to last page, home occupation or home business exceeding limitations in articles, et cetera, must obtain site plan approval. That's pretty straightforward. There are limitations listed in 2A, 1B, 1 or 2.
I don't see that one. I don't have that one.
The last page got cut
Down
off.
here?
Oh, okay. It's okay. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I did have this.
Discussion on that one?
What is my page got cut off, so on page 4, I can't read the end of that last paragraph.
Yeah, the line at the very top is gone.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that either.
What's that line, Richard?
That's not on my original. It's not my original either.
Oh, okay, so you don't know what that says either. It's above her address, way at the very top.
Yeah. See if I can find that. I have it here.
Was this sent to us?
It was on
January 6th?
January 6th from Laura Spector Morgan.
So it says, at the bottom here, add a new Article 2A13, which requires any home occupation or home business which exceeds the limitations established in Articles 2A1B1 or 2 to obtain site plan approval. That's the ballot question.
I didn't bring the zoning, but I think it says if it's outside the building, you gotta get site plan review. I would hope that's what it says. Are you gonna look it up, Ed?
In zoning?
Yep. Because we have two restrictions. If it's completely contained, no outside impact, we don't want enough. Don't do it. As soon as you come outside and you might impact someone, that's when we wanted them to get a permit, and maybe that's not strong enough. Is that what it says?
Home business, well, it says operating permit, it doesn't say site plan review.
Through the zoning?
Home occupation, there's a whole bunch of things, and then it says, any activity exceeding these standards must obtain an operating permit. So it doesn't say site plan review.
And that's our zoning?
That's in the zoning.
And what are the constraints? Up top?
No home occupation shall be permitted that changes the outside appearance of any buildings, results in outside storage or display, generates traffic, parking noise, etc., creates a hazard, electrical interference or nuisance. Anything exceeding these standards must obtain an operating permit. And-
Okay, so that what the intent was, if you're self-contained in the house, no one knows you're doing it,
Yep.
go for it.
And then under home business, that was home occupation. Under home business, it's kind of the same. It has to be done by the residents, clearly secondary to the use of the premises for dwelling. No external evidence of the activity. Same thing about noise, odors, smoke, dust, nuisance. No outdoor display of goods or storage of materials. No window displays. No change in exterior appearance.
When we post these warrant articles, do we reference the,
Yes, it would say.
it's going to reference on the ballot?
Not on the ballot. No, she gave us the wording for the ballot.
Yeah, the ballot has that.
Don't you think the ballot should include that information? Because otherwise people are
Yes,
not
it
going to...
does. It does.
It doesn't.
Warrant article ballot question. Add a new article. This is the, are you in favor of Amendment 5, blah, blah, blah. Add a new Article 2A1B3.
But no, I guess Gus's point is, nobody knows what the hell that is.
Exactly.
So how, if one just came to vote on the warrant articles, they wouldn't have any context.
Well, you know it's a change in zoning.
So then they might say no.
They might,
Right.
They might.
but that's why we have a public hearing.
It's a change in zoning, so you have to go to the zoning
So
and
when
we'll
is
look up
oh,
that.
so you have a public hearing
To
before?
talk about all these. Will they come? I doubt it.
Right.
Right,
Will
so
they-
how do we communicate what all of these changes are so that people understand what they are?
Well, I don't think we want to put it on the ballot, but there's still...
No, I don't think we want to put it on the ballot. I'm just saying, what other communication vehicle do we have? Whether it's just a stack of explanation that's neutral. It's not, this is what it is. You decide what you want, and maybe it's a piece of paper that's handed out when they come in. I don't know.
I agree. I agree. The warrant article itself doesn't explain what it's doing.
Right.
Exactly.
You need,
You need some
Context.
And what she gave us, I think is a good first shot at that, right? Because before the actual warrant article, she tries to give us the words or the rationale.
Is that what her red is?
Yeah, I didn't, we don't...
I wasn't
I
clear
don't
what.
know the color of it. So why don't we just have that little pamphlet or handout over there with those things
Yes.
on?
Yes, I think that'd be excellent.
I think we should.
But then on the bottom it says, this is the warrant question, and that's what goes on the ballot.
Understood. But I just think we should.
I agree. To read that as
In with color, right? That's-
Yeah.
She's very
Because ours
clear
is in color.
Yeah.
So that's her,
verbiage behind the warrant article.
okay, but in this case, it doesn't explain what 2A and 2B
No,
is.
so we could print that out.
Right, and
I
explain
think we
what
should.
it is.
Yeah.
Or maybe we write it so people understand what it says, if it's too
Right.
complicated. I don't know.
All right. And, again, the zoning ordinance is complicated, because under home occupation, it says anything that exceeds these standards must obtain an operating permit for a home business. It doesn't tell you from whom. Under home business, it says unless specifically approved or required by the selectmen. It doesn't say anything about operating permit. So both of those would now be subject to a site plan review, which makes more sense.
We should create a map that says, if yes, and then the arrow goes to that box. If no, then they box. Right? It's like one of those.
Well, they have it, that's how they did the site plan. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
site
a
plan.
few diagrams like that,
Right.
but, yeah, agreed.
But somebody reading that would not know that they have to do a site plan review. And where do I get said operating permit?
So we maybe should change the word operating permit to be consistent with,
Yeah.
that could be another warrant article, if it's a change, yes, Griff, it's a change to our zoning. Operating, you want to call operating, you want to change operating to, we want to be consistent. Because your point is, what's an operating permit?
Yep. Okay. Everybody good with that if we fix the language?
And we're going to provide additional information.
Yeah. Right. And the last one that's not here is we wanted to, and we have to get her to write this language up. We wanted to get definitions clarified. So if the town doesn't define things like what a driveway is, which we don't, we revert to the state's definition. And then the question is, sometimes the state has different definitions in different places. So do we want to revert to the state definition that is the most conservative or the least conservative?
I go most because we always go to the ZBA for relief.
You can always go the other way.
That's right.
Right. So we'll get some language on that and send it around.
Doesn't there have to be emergency access? I mean, the road, the driveway has to be conducive to emergency access, doesn't it? That should be a minimum.
You would hope, we don't specify that in our zoning, but I suspect the state does. And that's part of our problem. We don't define what a driveway is.
So when we had the solar issue, before we had defined what it was, we would have referred to the state laws on solar, which, I don't know.
Which might be very generous. We don't know, but if we don't define it, you need a definition someplace.
Right. Well, it'd be like noise pollution, right?
Yeah.
We don't have anything that talks about that.
That's right. And if we reference it in our zoning,
Right.
how do we define noise pollution? We don't.
Right.
They do. We use
Right.
their definition.
Got it.
We don't define a lot of things in our
Right.
zoning. We
Right.
talk about them, but we don't define them.
Right.
And we're getting nipped on that. Because my definition is different than your definition.
Right. That's interesting.
So you get something in the book, like I said, you can, if it's not really correct, you can always go to the ZBA for relief.
So can we agree we have 5 warrant articles potentially, and we're 80% of the way there? In terms of, we want all 5 on the ballot, and we just want to clarify the 5 acre, the 400, and the permitted uses, home occupation, and
Definition.
definitions. All right, we'll get something out to Laura,
We're required to have a public hearing on these
and we need a public hearing.
before February 3rd.
Should this be covered in the January 27th?
I wouldn't do it.
No.
I understand,
Pandora's box.
I wouldn't be
It's
honest.
a 4-hour meeting.
The January 27th meeting is 6 or 7 p.m.
It
Seven.
said 6:30, I thought they
Seven.
were saying 6, and I thought it was 7, so I'm not sure.
What's posted?
Well, we posted
7
it.
o'clock is posted.
Okay.
Oh, well then that's the answer.
Can we read and post it? 'Cause you can post it up to 10 days before.
Why would we change it?
I don't know. Make everything 6 PM, just make it easier for us.
So that's a public hearing on the
I
27th?
just wouldn't, I
Yeah,
wouldn't change it, no
What
confusion.
time
Okay.
was that? Sorry.
So leave that at 7 on the 27th.
And then our February 10th is at 6 PM.
Yes.
Okay.
Our normal meetings are going to be second Monday, 6 PM.
Okay.
And the office hours will stay the same? Ed? Is that
What do
you
people
say?
think about office hours?
I think under our rules and procedures, we have to have them currently, I think.
I believe our rules of procedure state that the administrative assistant,
Has to be here 2 hours before each meeting. Which I wasn't, because that was too early today. I was here an hour early.
Oh, because I thought it was, well, I thought it was, Rick was doing it Thursdays.
yeah, I think that was
8 to 10.
courtesy. Don't
Was it?
think that's in our rules of procedure?
I don't know.
Ed must know.
I think,
Ed?
I don't recall.
I don't know.
I think what's helpful, what I think we've learned is all communication, official communication comes out of a board meeting. And you do it in writing. I mean, people have questions, that's great to help them, but that's not official. The board is official. And we do it in writing. That's my take on this.
I would prefer not to have them unless requested.
That's
You know, if
fair.
somebody wants a consultation, they can come in, they don't have to. And I would say, sorry, run it through either me or the chairman until March, and or the administrative assistant.
Yeah, and you can come into the board and ask for a consultation,
Yeah,
but I think we learned is we get confusion with these meetings that are offline.
yeah,
Because the board said, and the board didn't say, a couple of members said,
right.
and that just confuses people.
Right.
We seem to agree on that.
Now that we've lived it.
Yes, right, now that we've lived it.
If you can't be helpful, you just have to say, here's the facts. Unfortunately.
I think I learned a little bit about the process sitting through
Yeah.
10 of those Thursday meetings, but I think Molly was here once and
Nobody else showed.
nobody else ever showed up.
Yeah.
So should I just post online office hours by appointment?
I think that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But we still have to check the rules of procedure, because that would be a change.
I don't think it's in there.
Okay.
I will check that.
Did we accept Rick's resignation? Because we have to do that as a board. According to rules and procedures.
What page are you on?
2,
Wow. Page 2, the guy's resigning right now.
right above duties of officers, resignation.
Oh, right, yeah, I didn't realize that, forgot. Brain was a little foggy last week. Too much NyQuil. Yes. So we have to wait until we get the letter.
Oh, okay. I
I
don't know.
think, is he sending a letter to the board?
I will ask him to.
Okay, because he sent one to the select.
It doesn't say to whom. We can accept that letter.
I'm going.
While he's doing that, this is for,
I understand the building inspector.
What's that?
this is for master
You don't have
plan
anybody.
Oh, okay.
discussion. Master
Wow.
plan discussion, master plan discussion, Carrie,
Don't forget
master
to
plan
schedule the one
discussion. Let's
Okay.
get to it.
All right.
What was the last question on the rules of procedure?
Yes.
You've before the
Nice.
resignation part.
Wait,
Before he said the resignation part, just something we're talking about.
really? Oh, okay.
Whether something was in the rules or not, that's
Oh, if the
Oh,
office
yeah,
hours.
just want to do it yourself.
And then he's
okay. Thank you.
I'm the secretary of
The only ones I saw were mine,
The only thing I saw was that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why we've had trouble finding people to do it.
Yeah.
Master plan.
So I will ask Laura, add to my list, whether the letter to the selectmen is sufficient, because it doesn't state who the resignation letter should go to in the rules of procedure. So on January 1st, there was a letter dated from Richard Surratt. Selectmen, comma, I resign my position on Brookfield Planning Board effective immediately. So I would make the motion that as a planning board, we accept that as of that date.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and if that's not sufficient, I'll ask for another letter directly to us. You want that back?
That's our copy. That is the copy.
Oh, you,
Let me
yeah, you got it.
make a phone.
All right, moving along here. I think we've got, Marshall, 1 second. Hang in there. Just last thing on the Moose Mountain public hearing. If you guys would just, copy of this. I think it's two-sided. Do you have page 2 of the back?
Yes. Oh, I only have one page, but it's two.
2 pages,
Yeah.
2 sets, yeah.
Okay.
And say one for Carrie, please. Oh, Jesus.
There's a couple there.
So just so everybody has, yeah, everybody has a copy of this
Thank you.
timeline for Moose Mountain. Basically, it's just a summary of anything that was covered regarding Moose Mountain in the minutes going back to whatever date it starts at.
Did they provide this?
No, I didn't.
Thanks, Ed, for pulling this.
That's huge.
It's huge.
So just so we can prepare for the public hearing, I think that would be helpful. Obviously, it doesn't have everything in there because the minutes are much more limited than the hour-long meetings we have. Kind of gives you an idea. So I think, Rich, we don't know if Laura was successful in reaching anybody at Moose Mountain.
That's correct. That interview is supposed to take place today.
Today?
So, yeah, my understanding is that Laura was going to call Moose Mountain's lawyer, subsequently found out they don't have a lawyer, so she was going to call Steve directly
That's my
and
understanding.
strongly suggest that they split the application, site plan review application, into 2. Get the restaurant hopefully done and deal with the other stuff later,
Right.
since we need more information and have requested more information many times. Also, I think we're going to have to get a Mylar, not for the restaurant, but for the other stuff. Is that your understanding?
I think so. I think if the board approves that application, and they have a map describing where all these activities are going to be, if it's a lot line adjustment or a subdivision, the board signs something,
Yeah.
a Mylar, and then that is recorded at the county. That's how you document what the approval is.
But this wouldn't be a lot line adjustment or a subdivision. It's going to be a new structure potentially.
My point was like a lot line
Like
adjustment.
that,
Like
okay.
that. When you come in and modify your lot, the board signs something on Mylar and is recorded. So if they're gonna come in with a whole new definition of where activities are gonna be, and we say yes, how do you document that? We sign that bylaw and they record it. I would think they want that.
Right, because then it's permanent with the
Yes.
county. But the restaurant wouldn't need that.
I don't think so, the building exists. We're not making.
Well, no,
Like
but
the
it's
outside
the
space.
outside.
The patio.
Deck.
If they enlarge it,
Well,
that,
it's up to the board to figure out how we want to document that. That's a very good, how we're gonna document that. We
does
could
that have
ask,
to go?
There'd be a site plan review in the file that says it's okay.
I understand, but if we say, yes, you can expand outside and have liquor or whatever, how do we define that space?
30 by 50 or whatever they said.
We could say that, or we could ask them to update a map, and we could sign that, but we should specify
Right.
what's being authorized. We think it's 30 by 50, they think it's 100 by 200. Right? You gotta specify what's been approved and actually where it is. But that can come out of the public hearing.
Right.
Where is it gonna be, and what does the board agree to, and how do you document it?
Also, if they add a structure, let's say we put not a pergola, but you know what I'm talking
A
about.
roof over a
Yeah, a
skating
roof
rink.
or, a roof over a skating rink, or a trellis,
Tell us, yeah.
or something like that,
Right.
over where the outdoor seating is gonna be, might need to get a building inspector.
Well, we should say that, right? That's, you know, I mean, that's up to us to qualify.
Yeah, any additional structure would require a building permit.
Yeah, because you're right, once it gets hot and sunny in the summer, you might want some shade, right? So the next step would be to build some sort of,
Cabanas.
yeah.
So do they know that there's a public hearing on the 27th? Do they know that?
Not yet. It's been posted on the website, and we are going to notify tomorrow.
Yes, Laura wanted me to wait just in case they do split off the restaurant versus all the
Oh, I
other list.
see.
And it's scheduled to go out tomorrow
Yes.
to them and all the abutters.
And I also think, as a planning board, even though we don't need a site plan review before public
Site
hearing-
visit.
Site visit before, I think it's our responsibility to walk out there and see what the hell they're doing with them before the public hearing. I think, that's just personal.
Oh, to see if they're in compliance?
No,
See what it looks like.
to walk through, because they're vague on, we're gonna have a skating rink.
Right.
Okay, so show us where it is, show us at least what you're thinking, so at least we understand all of these, if it goes that
So if
way,
it is,
if we have to go
yeah,
because they're not splitting.
if they're going to split it, I think we
We
all
can
know
just-
what the restaurant
Right.
looks like.
I agree.
Well, we got 2 weeks to make that happen then.
Well, we gotta make it clear that if we do a site visit, we gotta make it clear that just because we're doing a site visit, that's not necessarily included in the current application. You know what I'm saying, for a skating rink, 2 accessory buildings, whatever else they wanna put there, theater.
No, it's just us I mean, I don't know how they're gonna interpret it, but that's part of the process anyway.
Yeah.
So we have to be clear on what we're gonna do and why we're gonna do it.
So what can happen at the hearing? The application could be denied completely. It
But
could-
we're deciding that, right?
We are deciding that.
Right.
It could be continued for the lack of information. Or it could be, now I'm making this part up, partially approved, like maybe a restaurant. But if we don't get what we need,
Right.
that makes it easy in my opinion, but we shouldn't be talking about that now.
I think the partial approval is the best way to go
We'll see what they say.
for that.
Well, they may not want to do that.
Right.
But I guess back to the site visit, if they are willing to split the application, personally, I don't think we need a site visit for the restaurant.
I agree with you.
But if the other stuff is good, like where's the theater gonna be? Where's the RV parking? Where's the
I
hockey
think we
rink?
have to go before
I'd
the
like to
public
know,
hearing.
have
Because-
somebody say it's
And
gonna
the
be
people in
there.
the public would say, well, planning board, why haven't you even gone to see it?
Because we have been invited.
I think we're
They asked
opening
for a
up.
date, and they haven't
We did
responded.
ask for dates.
They have an obligation to provide the dates when we can come up and see it. That's what the letter said.
I know.
You're being,
Yeah.
trying to be helpful, I understand.
Well, I just think that this issue has been a difficult one for all of us. And so, I just think, let's see what the lawyer says. Or let's see if they're gonna split it or not, and if they aren't, my view would be that we call them and talk to them. Because how else can you get cooperation if all we do in here is be antagonistic, right?
My fear
You
of,
have in here that it was stated that a site visit and public hearing would be required if the application was approved.
If it's approved.
And that was in October. So
It
it's
was-
not.
It was approved.
Right, but it says planning
Right.
board stated that a site visit and public hearing would be required. So.
That's true.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
But I think if
I don't know
it's split, there's could be a
Yeah.
different interpretation.
I think we're opening Pandora's box if we go for a site review and ask to where are you gonna put the ice rink, where are you gonna put the theater? I think we're asking too many questions. I just think we should wait and let them decide when they wanna do it. I think if we do that now, we're just opening, we're giving them more hope that we're gonna include it all in this current approval. So I think I would just keep it simple, just keep it to the things we're ready to approve, like the restaurant and the things that they already have going on.
Can you just state that numerous site visits may be required?
oh, good.
I mean,
Tell them
that kind
at
of
the public hearing.
cuts to the chase, that
Yeah.
kind of covers us no matter what we do, right? No matter how many we have to go, I mean, it could be a preliminary one required before the public hearing, and that's what you're talking about,
That's what I'm talking
We asked for some dates.
and they haven't responded.
No.
And they know this public hearing is coming up,
They will.
so they got 2 weeks to get in touch with us if they want a preliminary.
Is the restaurant open?
Yeah.
Yes, it's operating. It's just, the restaurant issue is more about the outside.
Right.
Did they have that special event Saturday?
I guess, I don't know.
Tree
if we
burning,
approved
yeah,
it.
they did.
I don't,
Brad told me, because he's fire marshal, so that was with the Lions Club. The tree burning, yeah. I don't know how it went, but
I didn't go up.
I did.
So they're functioning anyway, so there's no like,
Well, they had the cease order from the selectmen that
Right.
got extended to May 1st, was it?
June 1st.
June
but
1st.
there's
oh,
some-
June 1st,
So
okay.
they can
Did
continue
I
as.
say that in here?
We said they're operating illegally.
Okay.
Is that, did you capture that in this?
I
Let's
think
see.
so. Any more discussion on Moose Mountain? Okay. Member comments, Marshall, you got something else? you had to-
Oh, yes, so this that I sent you, which is 3 or 4 or 5 pages, is right out of the master plan, and it's at the end of the master plan. And this is the implementation of work in progress for all the activities by committee, I guess I would say. So there's natural resources, and it's a chart to keep you on time for what activities you want to follow up with. It's basically strategies and action items. So I thought, in terms of rewriting or re-looking at the master plan, we should probably review if and what we have done to any of these, and what's relevant now versus what was relevant, quite honestly, from 1990, even though it was redone in 2006. Is it even relevant now? So I don't want to take, a half hour of time to review this. I wanted to give it to you guys, and obviously, for example, I've already talked to Frank Frazier on natural resources, and I said, would you be willing to walk me, work with me and keep me updated, and what do you think, or what do we need, right? And so I just wanted you guys as a starting point for next meeting, if you would, to mark it up, or say this isn't relevant in your mind, or so we can have a discussion.
And some of this will be dealt with the master plan, right?
This is the master plan implementation.
But in terms of the language in the master plan, this should be, so for example, well,
It might not say, this is just the master plan, for example, in natural resources, it might not say anything about some of these things. It's just, however this was written, there must have been, to me, these are kind of action items of how do I manage this, the natural resources in the town, right? So
the
it may
third
or
one-
may not,
Take a look at the third one.
yeah.
So how would we know anything about bedrock aquifers unless we had a water expert in here?
We wouldn't.
So
And
we
I don't know,
we
is
can't
there a
implement that.
map, is there a map that shows what the bedrock aquifers are?
Yeah, there is.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there is, right? So, I mean, that's what these committees are for, right? They
Yeah.
should know the answer to that question, for example. That's what I'm saying, we may I don't know answers to hardly any of this, to be quite honest. But, doesn't mean we can't understand and learn and
Yeah.
create a new strategy for, hey, here's the 3 things we want to do in the next 10 years.
Right.
Let's not get crazy and have 50 of them and not even look at it to see if we're doing any of them, because then that's just like every plan I've ever written in business. It goes on the shelf and you never look at it again, right? You go, gee, that's... So I'd rather make it something that we can use as implementation strategies and actually do them.
Good idea.
Why not?
I like it.
Yep.
Nice job.
Whatever that may be. So again, I would just give me the courtesy of looking at them, and if you have any comments on any of them, that's helpful.
Okay.
And also, for anybody who wants to volunteer, if there's one committee that's of more interest than another, or you have knowledge or experience in one of these, that would also help to guide you.
Great.
Cool.
Thanks, Marcia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's the update on the master plan. Just working.
Yeah, and
Was that the appendix
I've got to create the subcommittee too.
Yep.
obviously.
Okay. And everybody else has phone calls for Dana and
I got
Tommy Smith, I'm gonna get you the number, right? Yes, Rich.
open offices, it's going to be posted in the newspaper what the offices are. It's going to be posted on the website what the openings are on the planning board. We've got 3. We've got Kerry and Terry, terms are up, and we have to fill Rick Surratt, which is a term until 2026. So they're the openings, I believe, that we have on the planning board. Any misunderstandings?
Do you want to run again?
These are the postings.
I go home and tell Steve, he's gonna be like, are you kidding me?
So there are the openings. Rick's and these 2 will be posted as.
Does Steve want to be on it? No. What was that answer? There was no answer.
In terms of Rick Surratt's
I'm
position,
waiting
you know
about
who might be interested is Steve Barry. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's been to a couple meetings.
But he's got to run.
Right.
He's got to run.
Do you know him?
Who's gonna run?
Steve Barry and also Phil Emilio. Those 2 guys I know have expressed
They
interest.
have to sign up with the town clerk.
Is there a deadline for that?
Yes, I'll read it, what's going to be posted. Filing may be done with the town clerk during office hours from Monday. The filing period is January 22nd to January 31st.
Okay,
You do it with the town clerk.
all right.
22nd is coming next week.
I'm not even asking because I know
You should.
Okay.
I'll-
2 terms.
I would.
You should run
I
it.
mean, I'll come in,
Yeah.
I'll be an alternate.
Not for nothing, but you
Oh,
can
no.
write them in, and they're in.
Next year.
Oh, really?
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Ted,
I will do it.
We just have to replace.
But you're
Rick.
leaving.
But I'm going right now because I have a 10:30 work call.
10:18, thank you,
I
Gary.
gotta run.
Thanks, guys.
Done, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, I'm out of here, guys.
Yeah.
So for the gravel pits, is there a form that I'm supposed to
you
use?
can have one.
Do I get that from,
It's right on the, it's actually.
am I running for
if you
election?
go to this-
No, for the gravel pits.
It's